everyone, welcome to our continuing discussion related to John's vision and our deconstruction of his vision. And just as a reminder, John is sitting on a Greek island and is closely connected to three continents. And so you have Asia, Africa, and Europe. And so part of what needs to be considered is the fact that that's a part of his context, his current context. And so what's going on is a conveying of a vision that is filled with all sorts of metaphors, and it needs to be considered in the context of his current reality, his current circumstances, in addition to his vision of the future. And so that means that we need to take into consideration, when he's conveying this vision, the geopolitical reality that he was operating under, his understanding of culture and his own experiences. And so based upon that, what we are seeing emerge is this dynamic or theme of duality and transmutation. And then you have this mystery and this woman and all of these metaphors associated with this dynamic of mystery and woman. What's underpinning what John is talking about is this theme of shrouded identity. And so he is suggesting that there is a truth, but the truth is veiled. And this is manifested in this image of this woman and this beast. Now, there are many dynamics going on in John's articulation of what he is seeing. One thing that he is communicating is that this woman that he is describing and this beast, that there's a relationship between this woman and an actual geopolitical space. And so he is conveying that through what appears to be a metaphor. So he's using a woman to represent this geopolitical space, and then also this beast that is associated with this. And also there's an indication that there's a relationship between this woman metaphor, and what would be considered the sovereigns of the earth, the monarchs, the kings of the earth. And here you can see this a little bit more clearly. You can see there's an indication that this woman, this metaphor related to this woman, this analogy related to this woman, is also related to a specific geopolitical space and a relationship between this geopolitical space and those who would be considered the rulers of the world, the kings of the world, the princes of the world. And so this woman in this story, this vision, is sitting upon a red beast. And again, you have all of this mystery going on with this image of this woman and with this beast, and with this idea that these are representatives of geopolitical spaces and powers, and then the identification of these all being related to something that sits on many waters. And so we're just going to look very quickly at what this appears to be alluding to based upon John's vision. There are aspects of John's description that appear to be related to dynamics in mythology. And remember, he's in the area of Greece. And so there is actually mythos associated with that area. And his description of a woman riding on a beast actually fits the description of Europa. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at how this appears to be an alluding to Europa, also known as Europe, and potentially a relationship between Europa and the Druids. And so it appears that this may be a vision related to some sort of conflation of those two entities: Europa, Europe, and the Druids. Now we can look more closely at why this appears to allude to Europa. There are many depictions of Europa known as Europa and the bull is supposed to be Zeus. And so here you can see not only a depiction of Europa with reddish brown skin, you also see Europa riding on a bull, and this bull has a reddish brown tone. Fitting with John's context of being in Greece, you have this Greek mythos in Europa, and she is considered either the daughter of Phoenix or she is the daughter of the king of Phoenicia. In other words, she's a Phoenician princess. According to mythology, Europa is riding Zeus. And this is also interesting because there are references to this beast being related to the water. And in this narrative, there is a dynamic where they are in the water and emerging from the water. And so you have a number of things that are tying this vision that John is having to this idea of Europa or Europe. What's noteworthy about Europa is that she is coming out of Greek mythology. However, she is tied to an actual identity as a Phoenician princess who was abducted and assaulted by Zeus. And so this is very interesting how this comes together because, of course, you have Zeus as the bull, but Zeus also has a number of identities. And one identity is that as a chief god. Here's some additional notations about Europe and Europa. You can see down below it says that it's often explained as broad-faced, but also relating to the eye. And so big eyes or broad eyes related to the ability to see. You also see that there's a possible Semitic origin, and you also see that there's a relationship between Europa and the word that looks like Irubu, Ireb. And so there are suggestions that that is also related to Heber or Aber. And so we can discuss that at another time. We've touched on that a bit in the past, but it also relates to this idea of West. Let's look at this dynamic related to the bull, this beast, perhaps, that John is seeing in the vision, and in relation to Europa. In some cultures, the bull is seen as a divine entity, and it's also known as the divine bull. And you will see the word Taurus or some variation of that associated with the bull. And this just touches on a couple of the religious traditions associated with this divine bull dynamic. And you have one name for the divine bull as Apis, and another manifestation of the divine bull in what is known as Moloch. And before we go into how this vision may be related to the Druids, we just want to take into consideration that not only do you have Europa and the bull mythos, you also have a mythos in Gaelic culture of what's known as the cow goddess, or the goddess who is associated with horned beast and the wilderness. And so this also ties into the theme of the vision that John is having, because there are even references to horns associated with the beast. And so the beast is associated with horns, and that would fit in with having the bull as the beast. In trying to get a handle on this vision that John is trying to convey, it's important to keep in consideration the context in which he was in. And his context was Greece, And inside of Greece, you had a mythos that's associated with a woman specifically riding a beast, and a very powerful beast. Not just a powerful beast in terms of the physical aspects of the beast, a bull. You also have this beast being powerful because it is actually Zeus who has transmutated into this beast, this bull. And bulls are not only related to a significant amount of symbolism. You can see all sorts of mythology related to bulls. You see all sorts of things related to celestial dynamics that are related to bulls. And so we're going to see if there is some tying together of this bull and what John is envisioning, or what he's trying to convey. And also this woman who is riding this bull, who presumably could be Europa. We're going to see if these things all tie together in a way that's cohesive in trying to better understand this vision and then what it is he's trying to communicate. And so if you can think of any additional mythos related to a woman riding a beast, a bull, please share that. Also, if you have any other additional thoughts about mythology related to the bull, also share that. If you have some thoughts about the relationship between the Phoenician princess and the bull and what are known as the Druids, also share that. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.